Looking around here in the dramatic and sometimes rain-swept North Pennines, most people wouldn't realise they're on land that could be vital in combating global climate change.
Our peatlands are rarer than the rainforest. They are Britain's best natural way of storing green carbon, of locking carbon up in the environment.
The carbon is essentially the unrotted plant matter that's in there, and when that gets exposed by drainage or by eroding peat, the peat dries, and when it dries it mixes with oxygen in the air, in the atmosphere, and you have carbon dioxide forming. So peat dries, oxidizes, and that carbon is then released into the atmosphere or downstream, and then later released into the atmosphere.
And that's what happened from the 1950s to the 1980s. These drainage channels were dug to make the land drier and more useful for farming, but it didn't work. Instead, it caused more damage, channeling water into rivers, so increasing flood risks, impairing the land's biodiversity, and worst of all, causing erosion and releasing the locked-up carbon.
Our Peatscapes project is about making sure our peatlands remain wet and intact. And to do that, we need to go back and block up those drains that were put in over that 30-year period.
There are 3 million square kilometres of peatlands on the planet. Britain has the 10th highest amount of peat on the planet.
The contribution that conserving peat can make to fighting climate change is staggering. Cars, planes and trains account for up to 7% of global CO2 emissions. Drying peatlands account for up to 11% of CO2 releases.
The UK is leading the way, in my opinion, trying to lead as a good example of what peatlands should be treated like and how they should be managed.
Looking after them across the whole of the UK and working with partners in other countries where peatland is found is actually really, really important. We've had visitors from China come to the North Pennines and visitors from many other countries who've come to see the work that we are doing on peat. Our Peatscapes project has a great many benefits. It benefits the environment in a great many ways. It benefits the local economy, and ultimately, its benefit in terms of climate change mitigation and adaptation might be the thing that it's remembered for most.